Welcome, everybody. Section 35. I'm not going to lie to you. There's not a lot of tidbits in this one. I really like for all of this stuff to be informational and helpful. However, most of this is straightforward. The one section of tidbits is going to be somewhere around the 4-minute 20 mark. So if you want to skip forward to that, I would do that now. But yeah. Other than that, this is pretty much straightforward. You're building the dash to the airplane. There just isn't a whole lot of gotchas on this one. The structure is relatively easy to put together. If you did put on the air vents, you're going to find that the final small piece where you will mount the electronics, the screens, is going to be in the way. That is if you're installing screens and not a six-pack. But anyways, so there are a few people that have had to take those air vents off. Luckily, I did not install them like the plan said to. Usually my MO is to go ahead and install something and not read the plans correctly and then cuss and swear and all kinds of stuff and come to the conclusion, fine, I'll take off the air vents in order to install the rest of it. But anyways, yeah, on this you're installing, you're just rigging up this dashboard to the side skins. This silver piece in the front here, this is what I'm talking about. That silver piece where the screens or your six-pack are going to go, that's what's going to interfere with those air vents, and that's why in whatever section the air vent said don't install now. These little side skins right above the armrests, those get drilled into the longeron, and then you're going to dimple those, countersink the longeron for, I think it's a .040 thickness metal. Those struts that I just installed, I left them sticking up. Don't do that. You want them horizontal, or else you have to unbolt them and then rebolt them in horizontally. This is a plastic block that you have to somewhat Dremel out because there's one tolerance on one side of it that doesn't fit quite right. And this is all of this stuff that I'm doing right now is for the emergency release system off the canopy. I am going to install all the accoutrements, if you will. This is right now I'm about to install the smallest rivets in the world. But anyways, I'm going to install everything for the emergency release, but I don't think I'll put in the handle. A good friend of mine and RV14 builder, his name is Taylor. He does not install the emergency release handle. He sees it more as a liability than he does anything else. And I'm tending to see his point and agree. I've been sitting with it for a long time, and I think that's what I'll do too. Realistically speaking, somebody pulls that handle mid-flight, the chance of your vertical stabilizer staying on is so slim. So yeah, anyways, and some people, you give them a red button and they just can't help themselves but to hit a red button. So this is the option where you put in access panels. I highly suggest it, but oh my goodness, is it a pain. It's not fun, people. I'm not going to lie. If I knew how much time this was going to take, I'm not sure I would have done it. There's going to be some pieces that are missing because I essentially just took them into my house, took that skin into my house, and filed for hours and hours on end. There's no good way around that. Those access panels are a pain to install. For those of you that skipped ahead to 420, welcome back. We're just talking about how painful it is to install those access panels, but I'm sure it will be worth it in the end. Here are some pictures from my buddy Trent. What he did is he put a blue line all around it so he could see where the thickness was or was not whenever he put the panels on. So this next photo coming up is the amount of thickness you kind of want to see. So that's a great gap right there. And then you can see that blue line and it's continuous. I thought it was a brilliant idea. I did the same myself. This would be a bad gap. It does not have any blue line showing through, so filing needs to be done more on one side or the other. And this is where the bottom flange interferes with the dashboard flange. I'm sure there's a number for it, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to have to just kind of arc that out just a little bit. But shout out to Trent. I will link his blog because honestly, it's one of the best write-ups out there as far as building the 14. He's meticulous, and I think it's a wealth of knowledge. Yeah, now we're just back to normal, boring stuff that really has no tips or tricks. It just everything goes together nicely. I guess I had uninstalled the gas shocks. Here I'm pop riveting the and you have to lay down a bead of sealant before you put on these edge guards here. And then of course I'm just match painted them today so that the pop rivets aren't an eyesore, so to speak. You can see the gas shocks now, gas struts now. They're horizontal. Some people have had failures with these gas struts. There's a second revision, and it's a -1. So whatever the normal nomenclature for the gas strut is, it's a -1. The failures people have been seeing is that it will not hold the canopy up in even non-windy conditions. In windy conditions, I think even the -1s, you're going to want to watch them. It could come slamming down, and of course that's bad news for everybody. The -1s seem to be failing at a lesser of a rate. I believe that somebody else is coming out with a different gas strut that's a little bit more reliable. The access panels, you're going to put down some fuel tank sealant. You're going to get all kinds of nasty with the fuel tank sealant, as you do with any fuel tank sealant job. A little MEK to clean it up and take off all the primer internally there, to which I don't even think I'll add the primer back on because ultimately it did the job that I needed to, which is the surfaces that may have primer.